Hygiene Day, I would say, to both men and women out there, because it's a conversation that includes everybody. So it's not um, just the ladies or the girls or women. And I'm very happy to see a lot of guys actually posting about it. Yeah, it's great to see, because I was saying to Afrakuma the other time when we had the our program, that even we, or let me say me, because I don't know about other girls, like I was I felt it a bit uncomfortable even having it with fellow women or fellow girls, or yeah. And so to now see guys, posting and talking about it, it's very encouraging, and I'm very, very happy about it, to see it. So um today we've come together to basically have a conversation um about periods. Period. Let's talk about periods. For yeah, so we're going to talk about menstrual education in schools in particular. I can't really remember having this at school at all, unless I missed it. I can't remember. I don't know about you though. I can't remember having, I don't know,
No.
even a female teacher talking about periods or menstruation, or this is how you put a pad on, this is what happened, this is how you feel. And did my mom or my big sister say it? I don't think they did. I don't know. I think I remember having it, and then I went, I'm hurt. I think that's what the conversation was. And my mom was like, what do you mean you're hurt? And I said, I think I'm hurt, but I don't know. I can't see any cuts, but I'm hurt. So I turned my back, and then my mom saw the stains, and he goes, no, you're not hurt. And basically just showed me how to put a pad on. That is what I can remember. That was it. And no conversation whatsoever. I've had to sort of learn it. And I think this is it for a lot of women or girls out there, where we've had to just learn it, how to take care of ourselves, how to calculate the days, and so on. So yeah, so today we're here to really talk about it. And then, for us ladies to also have a conversation on our what we think about our schools and curriculum. So yeah, welcome Afrakuma, welcome Ubalda, and we have Dr. Henrietta as well. I'll be your host. We have Linda Wilson as well. I'll be your host for today. So, ladies, welcome. Let's start with you, Linda. Introduce yourself and what you do and what intrigues you about this topic.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation to join such an interesting conversation that's of heart to me. I am Linda Wilson. I am originally from Ghana, but I'm currently residing in Germany for my master's degree in social protection. I am a proud member of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, and currently I am serving as the youth representative for the Unlock the Future Coalition, as well as a member of the Youth Advisory Board for the Founders Collective of the United Nations Foundation. Our mandate is to unlock increased and improved financing for youth initiatives that align with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals so that we address the world's greatest challenges, such as what we will be discussing today, period poverty. So I'm really excited to be here today with other amazing speakers to touch on this issue and also to create awareness and educate people about menstrual hygiene. Thank you. Can you please hear me? Looks like it.
Yes, I can now hear you. I wasn't hearing.
Oh, okay. So you did anyone hear me?
Oh yes, I did. I did hear you, but I think Afua is speaking, and I can't.
I can't hear her. Yeah, that's why I thought.
Yes.
Okay. If we can't hear you, please.
Can you hear me now? I think I put myself on mute. Can you hear
Yes,
me
we can
now?
hear you. Yes.
Yay! So I've been talking plenty for no reason. Right, so I said, yeah, thank you for that introduction, Linda. So yeah, Frakuma, if you can, or Ethel, if you can, also introduce yourself and what you do and how or why this topic means so much to you.
Hi, Afua and everyone. Good evening. Please, am I audible?
Yes, we can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay, so thank you all. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. My name is Efe Onanaya Amakobafo, but I prefer to be called Afrakuma. I am the founder of the Orange Girls Foundation. It's a non-governmental organization and we are into girl child development. One of our flagship program is period poverty, promoting menstrual health and education. And also in terms of sustainability, we are focused on sustainability. So our main project is on reusable pads. So we partner with an organization called Need Be to produce reusable sanitary materials. So it's kind of a social enterprise. By the end of the day, we also donate to other individuals and also collaborate with other organizations as well. I am a PR professional. Yes, so I'm excited to meet all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction, Afrakuma. I'm not gonna call you Ethel again, but I think I do use Afrakuma a lot.
Yes, yes, yes,
Than
you
Ethel.
do. Yeah.
Good, good, good.
Okay, thank you.
Ubalda,
Hi.
hello.
Hi. Good evening. So my name is
Hey.
Ubalda. I'm the founder for Upward Motion Foundation, and what we are about or focused on is empowering young girls in rural communities through skills training, educational support, and mentorship. And as part of our girls club activities, we um, make it a point to always observe menstrual hygiene day and then help the girls understand the importance of it and the need to be confident about it. Yes, aside that also I'm doing my national service. I'm from Ghana. Sorry about that. I'm doing my national service as a teaching assistant at the University of Ghana. So I think basically that's all to know about.
I think I muted myself again. Can you hear me now? I need to keep away from that button. Yes, thank you, Ubalda. It's great having you here. Yeah, we partnered with Ubalda, Ubalda's organization and Afrakuma's one as well, Upward Motion and the Orange Girls with AAA to empower girls as part of AAA's Empower Her project. So it's great having these two ladies with us today to have a conversation on this topic. Yes, Dr. Henrietta, how are you today? If you can
Hi.
introduce yourself as well. It's great
Sure.
having you here.
Thank you. I sound tired because I really am tired.
Well, thanks for being
Yeah,
here. Thanks for
I
being here.
sure I'm so happy to be here. I took like a 30 minutes nap to rest.
Nice.
Um yes. So just a quick one. I'm working at the University of Cape Coast Hospital at the moment. Um I'm also one of the founders of Polaris Collective, and one of our flag projects is ending period poverty, which we have under Happy Monthlies. So we mostly advocate for reusable pads because we've seen reusable menstrual hygiene products because we've seen those are the sustainable ones. So far we've partnered with the Orange Girl Foundation to produce some of those, and we also import some of the ones we cannot get here in Ghana and just donate for free to girls who cannot afford those products. So yeah, I'm really excited about this, and I hope that I'll be able to contribute to it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. That's amazing. So it looks like we've all got something in common. We're all part of an organization, um, embarking or fighting for the end or the reduction of period poverty, which is great. And at the same time, we are all women. So what a conversation is going to be today. Without any sort of order or whatever, I shared my experience from the beginning, when I had, or when I first saw my period, where I thought I was hurt because nobody prepared me for it, and I can't remember having this conversation in school or with anybody. And it took that time when I'd soiled myself from, I think I'd woken up from sleep or something, that I went to my mom saying I've hurt myself because I was bleeding. Um, did any one of you actually have a conversation either in school, or do you remember having an education about this topic in school, getting you ready, and getting you prepared for this occasion? Okay, Linda, we'll go with you.
Oh, okay. I don't think this conversation is happening in school. Mostly it's under a topic. For instance, when you get to, I don't know if it's social studies or whatever, we have puberty. So when we get to the puberty, that comes, is the transition from childhood to adulthood, including having physical and hormonal changes. So that's when maybe we highlight menstruation, not just, we don't delve into it. It was just brushing it. Okay, so girls begin to menstruate, this and that for
Mm,
menstruation, and I don't think that was clear enough. Lucky for me, I had cousins living with me, elder sisters, yeah. So it was easier for me when I menstruated. I think I was in the loo kind of. So I got back and I showed my mom these things, and there, as a can tradition, that bragger thing, they'll give you a toe and egg. Yeah, so she prepared that for me and was like, "You are
wow,
now a woman." So I think that was it for me. Yeah.
that's amazing. You had the whole initiation. I can't remember having that. Um, who else wants to share? Let's see.
Yeah.
Ubalda, let's hear from you.
Okay, I think my experience was rather good as well, because by the time I saw my
That's
period,
great.
I already learned about it. I already knew what menstruation was. So when I saw my period, I
Is
wasn't
this in
really
time?
scared. Yes, I got to learn about it early. And so I wasn't really, really scared. But at the same
Wow,
time, I didn't talk to anyone
I'm
about it. I
impressed.
didn't, well, I feel like that opportunity was not given to us at home. Like there wasn't that openness to talk about certain things. So
Mhm,
I kept
mhm.
it to myself. And then I remember the first time I was actually, I used cloth. I used cloth. I used cloth. I didn't use sanitary pad because I didn't know how I was going to get it. So I remember very well that the first time I had my mens, I used cloth. But moving on after that, it became more. I became more comfortable about it, and then yeah.
Wow, wow, what a story. Okay, Afrakuma, let's hear from you as well. I think we all
I'm
have to
sure.
share our experience. Afrakuma, let's hear from you.
I'm sure Ugalda. I'm sure I got your name right. I hope you're a Gen Z. Then we'll be okay to say you were taught in school. But for Gen Zs,
Wow.
now the conversation is. I don't know if you're a Gen Z. Are you a Gen Z?
Yes.
Oh, I said it. 41K Gen Z.
Lucky you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Lucky for us,
We didn't have.
the older generation, it wasn't like that for us. So for me, I started mine at age 11, and I was in class three or so, class three or four. Yes, it was that early, and I didn't have pre knowledge in that. So I remember waking up at
Wow.
dawn. I saw the blood in my trouser, and I was crying because I thought someone had cut my vagina, like in my dreams. So I was really crying. Then I told my mother that, oh, this is what is happening, and somebody has cut me. My mother said, no, this is it. And I was also initiated. I was given 2 eggs to swallow. I don't know what that is, but I was given 2 eggs to swallow. And that was it. My mother didn't say anything again. So I had to learn from my cousin, whom I always see wearing pads. So I asked her, oh, what is it? How do we do it? How do we do that? Yes. So that's mine.
Wow. Well, Dr. Henrietta, you're next. Let's hear from you. Whether you're Gen Z or
Yeah.
we'll try and figure it out. Why? Or or
So
what? Millennial? We'll see.
I so I had my period when I was 10 actually. So actually a year younger than Afrakuma, but I was not surprised. I was just so sick. I've been in boarding school almost all my life, so I knew what it was about. I had seen some of my friends. I was actually the youngest in my class. Though all of my classmates had their periods, and like I was virtually the only person who hadn't started menstruating by then. So
Okay.
I just remembered falling very ill, and I actually had to be admitted. And I think second day on admission, I had my period, but I was not surprised. I knew what to do. I actually had pads, like disposable pads. But the only thing that surprised me was the pain. And it was a bit strange because everyone I knew didn't have such painful periods. And it was pain I had never felt before. So that is what was confusing to me. And the fact that subsequently I was always ill anytime I had my period. And I actually didn't understand until I got to, I think, some even medical school before I found out what the whole pain was about. So for me, that was the only surprise. But I actually knew what menstruation was about, but it was not from conversation with any older person, but it was something I was exposed to because of the environment I had found myself. So yeah, the only thing that surprised me was the
Okay.
pain that came with it. Yeah, but I actually knew what to do, and
Wow.
that's I knew that I had to come every month. Well, another surprise was that because I ended up having a short cycle, I had mine like sometimes twice a month. So yeah, so those were my only
Okay.
surprises: the pain and then the duration, which I found that I'm one of the few people who had those. And so yeah, that was my only surprise.
Okay. Wow. Wow. So I guess we were the only ones that really didn't know much. I cannot remember anybody telling me about it. I had to learn it myself. And here we are having a conversation about it. And I'm glad to see all um the posting and the whole conversation. I was telling Linda, I'm happy to see that because it means that every or a lot of schools are realizing it, a lot of people are realizing it, so they're pushing that agenda. Yeah. So if you're sharing the link, kindly share the link that is on WhatsApp or the YouTube one. Because I think I've seen a few people come in here and we're meant to be five, but yeah, just in case you're trying to share the link, the one that I shared with you is for us to be here as the guest speakers, and then everybody else could join in on LinkedIn or YouTube. So I've shared those links as well. Yeah, right. So we'll go straight into the conversation. So I will start with I've been starting with Linda, so now we will switch it up a little bit. So Ubalda, um, let's talk about why you feel or what you think about the comprehensive menstrual education in or amongst girls and boys. So not, a lot of conversations we sort of segregate the genders, and then before you realize, it becomes a problem because the other gender does not understand it. And I think menstruation or menstrual period has become one of those topics. Why do you think it's very important, or it's so important to get boys or guys involved in this conversation? Oh, I think we lost Ubalda. Um, Afrakuma, do you want to take this question?
Yes, sorry. Okay, so I think that um, involving men and boys in the conversation is very important because I believe that society is not isolated. It's not made up of just women.
Mm,
It's made up of both women, men, boys, and even in the home, we find ourselves with men. In schools, we find ourselves with boys. At the workplace, we find ourselves with men. So
mhm,
involving them helps in getting them to understand because unfortunately, we've not reached the gender equity we are looking at. So at the workplaces or businesses are owned by men. Majority of business owners, CEOs, directors are men. So if they understand this and we are preaching about productivity and how period affects productivity, they will understand and ensure that there are policies that will protect women. In schools,
mm,
if we leave the boys out, then we are doing them a lot of harm because if you go to the schools, the girls will tell you that we share classroom with boys, they laugh at us. I have been a victim because I remember when I started and I told myself, boys were laughing at me. But imagine they understood it, they would have rather helped me out.
yeah,
And somebody will come to me,
exactly.
oh, you sold yourself, sit down or do this, let me help you out. But they were just laughing because they didn't know what it was. So protecting girls in school comes back to getting boys to understand because they share classroom with them and that is going to help. They'll go back home, they have sisters. If they understand, they will go in there to educate their sisters and not for the sisters to be hiding. When you go to parliament, there are more men. So now even promote asking for removal of taxes is difficult because they don't really understand. Why should we remove taxes for you? But if there are more, if the men understand, then they are going to help in balancing the equation when it comes to these conversations. So this is why I think men are important in the period discourse. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that's great points that you have there. Because yeah, we don't work alone by ourselves, so it will be, yeah, it in the long run it helps for all of us to understand, so we can offer the help and the support. That's great. Ubalda, you're back with us. It was initially your question, but Afrakuma helped you out. So what do you also say? Are you still with us? Unless you muted yourself, we can't hear you. Oh, right, okay. Dr. Henrietta, let's hear from you on what you also think, especially working in the medical field. What do you think?
Yeah, so
I think
I
we've
really
lost
think
her as
period
well.
education. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So I really think that period education is very important because even ladies who menstruate or people who menstruate sometimes have little to no idea what it's all about. But I also
Mm-hmm.
think that including boys or people who don't menstruate into the conversation can actually help to reduce the stigma and all the misunderstandings and myths that surround the whole process. So you find out that during the sessions that we include education in our outreaches, a lot of the times they are very ignorant about what exactly goes on with their bodies. And so something that is not supposed to be feared, in quotes, for want of a better word, feared or stigmatized, becomes something that people don't want to talk about. And it's actually a very natural process that should not be shrouded in a lot of myths and misunderstandings. So I think that including it in our conversations, in our everyday conversations and education will help to eliminate all the unnecessary thoughts and beliefs and myths that surround it. And then to also end the stigma that comes with it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, another great point there. So yeah, the whole thing, it's like you said, with women, not everybody really understands it. It took me time for me to grasp the whole cycle, how to calculate the days, like I think for me, the easiest way was when I started as soon as I start craving for sugar, that means it's getting to that time. Because I normally don't put sugar or anything sweet in my coffee or tea or any. I naturally don't like sugary drinks. So as soon as I start craving for certain things, that's when I became like I'm sure I'm sort of aware that okay, is that week or it's got a few days. So it took me time for me to be able to calculate the days and know when it will, to expect it and stuff, which a lot of girls or women still actually struggle with. It takes a few signs here and there. Sometimes it's either the crumbs or any other thing that would not happen on a normal day. That's when that's what they use as calculation or as expecting that time of the month. So yeah, I think educating both men and women has its pros in all the way around. So I'll come to you, Linda. What key topics should be included in the comprehensive education curriculum? Should we have any curriculum like that? What do you think that some of the topics? What great topics do you think would be great to include?
Oh, okay. So for me, I think when it comes to such topics, we can actually talk about is it anatomy and physiology, kind of getting to know the physical changes, because some just don't. For instance, in sub-Saharan Africa, you realize that like there are a lot of cases on period poverty. Most ladies or most girls don't are not aware of the of menstruation when they first experience their period. So it's key that they tend to know the physical changes, hormonal changes that happen before menstruation actually sets in. And also think about hygiene products, hygiene practices. For instance, some even don't know, maybe you are to change your pad maybe from between 6 to 8 hours. You are to discard it this way, like those healthy practices, taking care of your body. Yeah, and then we come to nutrition as well as education on the menstrual products available too. I think that will be very beneficial for them to know. It's not always there. For instance, in Africa, I think most of us are used to the disposable pads, but we have menstrual cups, tampons, we have reusable pads. So I think when we get to include these topics, it will be very beneficial so that we can choose which one is beneficial to us. For instance, now I learned in Ghana, disposable pads are very costly. So imagine if someone has the reusable pads, maybe 3 or 4, it's very good. Like you get to change, you will even forget about disposable pads, the cost of disposable pads being inflated almost every day. And as well as for instance, the menstrual cups too, some last for up to 10 years. So imagine having one. It's really good. So I think we search should be included in the curriculum. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. I actually did read somewhere that pads are classified or are seen as luxury. I don't know who actually had that idea. It's got to be a man who does not understand it, because I don't think any woman would think pad is a luxury. That's the least thing on my luxury list. But it's not actually, so it's taxed in Ghana. It's ridiculous. But anyway, hopefully it actually just gets, cancelled. And but I also learned that the locally produced ones are not, which I think the argument would be that it would encourage women to buy locally produced ones, but it shouldn't be taxed whether locally or, it's a necessity, so yeah, but we'll come to that topic later on. Yeah, so Afrakoma, what do you also think? What topics do you think that would be beneficial in our curriculum? Wow, I think we've lost Ethel as well. So it's just me, you, and Dr. Henrietta. So, Dr. Henrietta, if you can answer this for us. Hello, am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
you loud and clear.
Okay, I thought I'd muted myself again. So I've seen in the comment that there's an echo. Is it better now? I've changed the what is it called?
Yeah, I
The
think it's
speed.
fine.
Okay, great. Thank you. So yeah, Dr. Henrietta, can you Afrakuma, are you back? Because this was originally your question. No? Okay, Dr. Henrietta, if you're with us, what topics do you think should be included in our curriculum in terms of menstrual education? Okay, I think it's just going to be me and you, Linda. Let's have this conversation.
Sure, no
Because
problem.
nobody's talking. No, all right, no problem. We'll make it work. Yeah.
Sure.
So probably network problems. But anyway, yeah.
Mm.
So let's say we've implemented these curriculums, or we wanting to implement it. What sort of barriers do you see? Like what do you see could be?
Hello.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
anyone hear me now?
yeah,
Yes,
we
we
can
can
hear
hear
you
you.
now.
So sorry, my connection was lost.
Yeah, we thought so.
Eh,
Welcome back.
thank you.
Right. So, okay, so you can take this question for us. What sort of barriers do you see in terms of implementing these topics in the curriculum? What do you see could be a barrier to implementing it?
Yeah, so for instance, we mentioned the fact that people do not know about their periods, and then they think menstruation is a bad thing. Boys who don't menstruate think period blood is dirty. Even some ladies actually think period blood is dirty. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it will be the ingrained misconceptions that we've had whilst growing up. And a lot of the times people are ready to fight even science because they grew up knowing something all their lives, and then you come with a different thing you are calling the facts. So it would be our upbringing and what we've been made to believe as an African society, and also about the issue of the options that are available for menstrual blood. So, for instance, in Ghana, most people know about the disposable pads, the yas, the always, the soft care that everyone is complaining that are now so expensive. Those are not sustainable. But a lot of the times, people are not ready to embrace the idea of reusable menstrual hygiene products. Some don't even know that they exist. Even though before, I know that um, people before us used to use, let me say, cloth to collect menstrual blood, but people think that those things are archaic, but I think it's just the presentation or packaging of whatever you are using, and then the hygiene involved in it. So I think it's mostly the way we are brought up, those very ingrained misconceptions. Those are things that I think, that is one important thing I can think of, that are mostly like mostly like a barrier to these things we are trying to introduce. Yes, so that's what I think on that.
Nice. Yes. To be honest with you, I don't think it's just African countries though that believes that. The I think it's some sort of people from a very traditional background, regardless. You would be surprised that people in the developed countries also, some people think that as well. They think of how dirty the blood is, how unclean, let me use that word because I hear that a lot, unclean. And recently I actually listened to the Old Testament and it came up, all the unclean stuff, and I was like, so it has some of these things. It was my first time coming across it, which was actually a shock to me, when a woman is, the time of the month is unclean, and that. So in India, in Syria, in well, most part of the African continent, and or underdeveloped countries, and some part of the US as well, especially those with very old biblical mindset or traditional teachings, also do think that. And that's what has been passed on over the years, over the centuries, to get to where we are now. And some it has is actually, yes, gotten some women to think that it is unclean, it is bad, because at the end of the day, if you should stay inside you, it will cause more harm than good. So you might as well just come out. I'd rather out than in. So, but well, for my line of work, right, I have sometimes when we deploy, and then you get some of the females having these insertions to prevent the flow, and they either end up with reactions, skin reactions, nausea, like so many, because they're trying to prevent or delay it until we're back to, because they don't want that embarrassment. They don't have to deal with it. They don't want to, it just complicates all of these things. And sometimes when we come back, and then they now want it to get back to normal, it then causes even more side effects. So it is better you leave it. That's my opinion. Not everybody will agree. I feel it is better to let it out, and just for us to keep talking and educating ourselves about it, including me. Like, there's a lot that I've been learning with reusable pads, and I just thought it was a African thing as well, until I read a documentary where more than 1 million people in the US are fighting or facing period poverty. And I was shocked. Again, whenever I go to the shop and I have to buy a sanitary pad, I'm thinking, that is expensive, especially with the disposable ones with certain brands I'm not going to mention, which is what I'm comfortable with, because over time I've learned to be comfortable with that, and anything else that is not, I find it very discomforting. Um, and yeah, they've, it's been capitalized on, and it keep the prices are horrendous, and it's only a matter of time that, with the cost of living as well, if you have to keep thinking of the monthly cost of these, I think that the numbers are going to be more than what it is now. 500 million women worldwide. That's a lot. And I'm sure those are the ones that have just been documented. So imagine those that are not openly talking about it, or, you know, um, accepting the fact that this is what it is. Because people don't even know or understand what poverty, menstrual poverty is. It's a new term to a lot of people, just like the reusable pad. So when I shared the donation link to people, they're like, eh, reusable pads, are you people mad? I said, no, we're not mad. This is sustainable, because not everybody, aside the environmental aspect of it, because I also didn't know it takes more than 10 years for the disposable ones to actually dissolve or um, degenerate. I've never thought of it until I started researching and reading a lot about how reusable pads work, and these cups, how long they take to, how many times you can use it over the years, and how easy it is to dispose it as well. So unless we keep it will take time, but it is better to start now than not talk about it at all. And yes, and I think that is what a lot of us, if not all of us, on this topic, we all agree with the fact that it is we are all very environmental friendly people here. Most of, if not all, our organizations are looking at the best ways to help curb this poverty, because whenever we go and just share the disposable pad, unless we keep doing it every month, that problem is still there. And yeah, Dr. Henrietta, that's a good point. That problem will still be there. But when we embark on the workshops teaching girls how to make these pads themselves, over time, it's easy. That's the solution. That will always be that solution, than to look for the unclean ones, or the ones that is going to cause infections and stuff. Yes. Afrakuma and Ubalda, are you still with us?
Yes, my phone decided to disgrace me and go off even with full battery. So, but I'm back now. I'm
Okay.
so sorry.
Nice, nice. No worries. Okay, now that you're back, take this question for us. We're talking about the barriers on when we
I'm
want,
here too.
when
So
should these um okay, welcome back as well. Yeah, so these, but what okay, so Ubada, give us an example of a barrier to implementing this in our curriculum, and then Afrakuma, you can take what steps we can take in curbing these barriers.
Okay, thank you so much. So, the barrier, I think I'll talk about the lack of practical example. So I work with this girl child coordinator in Winneba, and she's really, really passionate about the children and making sure that like they are comfortable, that they have all they need. And each and every day she's going about writing proposals, reaching out to people to make sure that they have the resources they need to I mean, in terms of menstruation, to be able to focus, attend school regularly, and then be comfortable during their period. But it has been a major challenge. She's always reaching out. What can we do? She has even reached out to a lot of organizations asking those who do this reusable part, asking for support, but it doesn't come. And so I believe that for some of these people, they are working really hard to ensure that girls have that kind of support to be able to be comfortable during their period and go to school, as well as the boys. But the lack of these resources, the lack of access to them, it serves as a barrier to they achieving this. And then another practical example that's even away from the resources. Some of the stakeholders are a big problem. So Mr. York was telling me about, I'm sure for Mr. York, one of the schools that they wanted to have the event today at, and the headmistress was not happy about it. And I was trying to understand how. Yes, so he
I'm also
reached out to
trying to
her.
understand.
He reached out to her that so he has these people he's working with and they're coming to the girls, and she said no, she won't allow it. They have to write letter to GES first. So then I reached out to GES myself because I have a connect there, and she was really shocked that the headmistress was acting this way. And even after GES gave Mr. York the go ahead, he said he's not going to make it to the event or even speak. So then I'm wondering, are you working for the good of the girls? I don't know. I have to know. I still don't get why she behaved like that. But then we can clearly see that some of the stakeholders are also a problem, because even in as much as people want to be of help to these girls, they stand in the way and prevent that from happening. So I think these are some of the barriers I would just like to mention in relation to what.
Wow. That's very, yeah. That's that. I know a different story as well to what you've said, and it was rather unfortunate and very disheartening and disappointing that it was coming from women. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. Yes, Afakoma, you with us?
Yes, 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 I'm here.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. Let's hear from you.
Yes. So I'm talking about how we can bridge the gap, right? Ensure that
Yes.
these challenges. Okay. I think I can switch to camera now. Yep. Okay. So I think with when it comes to bridging that, first, education is very important. I mean, I believe
Mm,
that once people get to understand what they are supposed to do, sometimes it's easier. Because they don't really understand it, it will take you a long time. So, one, education. And education is we all playing our role, adding our voices all the time, making the noise for them to understand. Now, I'm happy where the conversation is getting to, because now menstrual health this year, for instance, a lot of people are talking about it, and it's exciting because I
mm-hmm.
feel that okay, now we are getting there gradually. So that's what we should keep doing, is the first thing. Secondly, I think policies will help. Now, if the education ministry has a policy that when individuals, NGOs, civil organizations come to schools to educate kids, don't allow them to go through the long process. Let them use a shortcut, because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit the student and the school as well. So if you are able to have such policies in place to protect girls in terms of making education accessible, so that if just like she was saying with regards to today's events, if the headmistress understand that, or there are easy policies or policies in place that okay, if such people come, allow them to speak to the girls, it would make things easier. Ghana bureaucracy is
Mm.
so much, and sometimes you wouldn't want to blame the headmistress because they
Hmm.
are working under the district, and sometimes it's coming from above, so they wouldn't want to break the rules. So if up there
Yeah.
they loosen up the process, then it would also help. So for me, I think education is important, and having policies in place is also important. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm I'm just trying to understand. I may sometimes when you're sort of in the middle of the
Mhm.
whole conversation, you don't understand why or what is causing those on the top to have certain opinions, or and sometimes it just intrigues me that I just want to know, you know, what information do they have? What are they reading? What are they seeing that we're not? And I think sometimes to having that conversation with policymakers, grassroots, those in between, like, a forum where all the stakeholders, from the beneficiaries to the organizations and the headmistresses and
Yeah.
policymakers, come together in
Mhm.
one room so that we can
Yeah.
understand each other. Because I
Yeah.
feel sometimes we don't get them, they don't get us.
Yeah.
Those that are also the beneficiaries also don't get, and so
Mhm.
on and so forth. And it will be very interesting to see that or hear that conversation, so that
Mhm. Yeah.
you can all understand ourselves. Because
Exactly.
one thing is, what and I think a lot of the time too, this is me playing the devil's advocate. It is
Mhm.
how NGOs and certain individuals have come in the name of helping, or and then it's there's been
Yeah.
another or ulterior motive. So I
Yeah.
guess, again, me playing the devil's advocate, that it would be nice to hear or understand, the idea behind all these bureaucracies and whatnot. Yeah, a
Yeah.
very good topic. That I think just on that
Mhm.
conversation we can have another event, a whole event on it.
Yeah.
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 So I'll go to Dr. Henrietta. How can we measure the effectiveness of the menstrual education programs? Like, what indicators should we be using to assess these?
Yeah, so what we mostly do is that for my foundation, when we go out to these communities, we are usually in contact with some teacher or an assembly man, woman. I'm sorry if the term is strange to anybody here, but mostly community leaders. So people that are very
Mm-hmm.
prominent in the society that we can actually reach out to. Even if those people are not available, they direct us to somebody that we can be in easy contact with. So what we do is we give them teachers, especially occasional calls, and once in a
Okay.
while we visit those communities. That's one of the reasons why finances can be a barrier, because you need money to make those follow-ups, those visitations after you've been to the people. So we often just find out, asking simple questions, and most of the time too, that also helps us to find out whether the parts we've distributed have actually been of use to the community, and also if they've encountered any problems actually. So simple questionnaires, simple questioning them, and then detecting the gap in their knowledge. So before you went there, what did they think menstruation was all about? What did they know that you could use on your periods? When you go back again, you might meet, you might not meet everyone that you met before, but
Mm-hmm.
you would just compare the gap in the knowledge. How is it like? Are they now comfortable with their periods? Are they more open to talk about it? Is how is their knowledge now? So it's basically
Mm-hmm.
just you asking the right questions, and then comparing and taking notes of the needs that you saw in terms of menstrual education, menstrual knowledge, and then trying to have follow-ups. So those are the ways that I think have been working for us so far. Sometimes some of the communities, the lead people get lost to us. So oftentimes we are not in contact with just one person. Some teachers get transferred, but then they are able to sometimes just link us to other people that are still in the community. So I find that aside the teachers, it's also good to involve somebody from the community as well, because most of the teachers are not there on permanent basis. So even if you cannot travel back due to one or two circumstances, you can just reach out to the teachers or those community people, and then maybe even if they are not gathered for your menstrual topic, they can just mention it in passing. Oh, do you remember this group of people who came around and gave you this bunch of stuff? They want to know how you are finding it and what you think so far. That follow-up actually helps. Yes.
Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, I'll throw the same question to Ubalda. How do you go about it for your organization?
Okay, so for now, the only thing that we use is the follow ups as she spoke about. And in terms of the follow up, one of the ways we also do that is through I don't want to say quizzes. So let me give an example. When I visited the school on Friday to have the conversation with them and donate the pads, I decided to just try. I told them that for today I'm going to be the student, they are going to be the teacher, just to know if they still remember the things we taught them, if they still are confident to share about their period and all that. And I noticed that it's still the same as before because there were male teachers, the girls were still not confident to talk about it. And this was not the first time they've gotten the opportunity like to learn about menstruation. I was really, really shocked, but they were not as comfortable as they were supposed to be. And even certain things like hygiene during menstruation and all that, I noticed that they were finding it difficult to speak about because they do not remember. So I think that the follow-ups is really, really good, and that's what we, because in the end we get to know that okay, so then more work has to be done. Either we make it more
Practical,
practical, it
yeah.
is something that you have to remind them every month. And as she was saying, involving people from the community, that's something we are not doing, but that's something I've picked from what she said today. Because when we went, I think the girl child coordinator we used to work with was no longer in the school, and so I believe that if she was there, maybe she would have done the follow-ups and then the frequent check-in and all that. So we
Hmm.
were also using the follow-up, but from the conversation, the involving someone from the community is helpful because the girls actually forget, even though it's something that they live with, even though menstruation is something that is part of them, they still forget some of the things to do when it's time. Yeah, so it's very important
Yeah.
that we do that.
Wow. And actually saying that, I think was it. I think it was Afua or or Casey. Anyway, it could be both of you at the same time. And we've been talking about periods since last month because we had a workshop in Malawi. So yeah, it could be anybody. But this is what I was saying, that we shouldn't just wait till May to have these outreach, to have this conversation, to have this education, to have these conversations going. It should be part of like an ongoing conversation because every month, every day, a girl, a woman, a child is going through or having her menses. So it is something that we shouldn't just wait till May to use the whole of May to have a conversation about. And as soon as May ends, it becomes a forgotten topic because, like we've all said, Ubalda. Now the idea, the fact that they are forgetting what to do, that speaks volumes. That there's more work that needs to be done in terms of the ongoing conversation, the ongoing training. The more they do it, the mind would then, you know, um, get accustomed to it. And I think with the men, for girls being shy with when men are around, it's not a new thing, and I feel it's going to take time. It's going to take, because I did mention that even with me, with around women, I'm like, why are we sat here talking about periods? Like, I'll thank you. I'd rather something else. But I've realized that no, it is something that we do need to talk about because there are things that we as women we don't even know fully. I'll give you an example. So I know a colleague who, when during that time of the month, it's very severe. So I used to think, are you acting it? Like, are you really that much in pain? And when I started reading and having these conversations, I realized no, everybody is actually different. The fact that I am lucky to only feel like a few crumbs every now and again does not mean that's what it is for every woman. And this is because we don't talk about it a lot, even as women. So imagine having that conversation with a guy. And it's again, I'll say it again, the guys out there putting statuses up, joining organizations to share pads, even joining conversations. My heart out to you. You're doing a great job. Keep empowering women. Keep using your platforms, to get other men involved, so that as time goes on, it will be easier for us to have the conversation as a we discussion. And I think with that, and with education with boys and girls, it will get easier, for the women or the girls to have these conversations when men or boys are around, and for boys or men to even understand the whole issue as well. So that's great. I think our time is, oh yeah, it's almost up. So let's run up with a few questions. So um I'll go with you, Linda. What are your final thoughts? What do you really think will be the best, or one of the best, should I say, ways to educate and also get policies, workplace, like, think of it in its entirety: menstrual poverty, menstrual health, and menstrual hygiene, like everything that comes under this topic. What give us some suggestions, what we as individuals could do, even in our workplace, in our families, and this is the question for all of us, organizations or NGOs out there.
Oh, okay, so thank you very much for the question. First, I would like to say, if we want to tackle menstrual health issues, then it means we should bring it to light. We shouldn't wait till maybe in May that we talk about it. No, we should talk about it every blessed day, because just like you mentioned, today someone is menstruating, and today someone has ended her menstruation, tomorrow someone is starting. So we should talk about it. And it's so funny that we, the ladies, especially in the girls schools, for instance, you go there when someone is in a menses, instead of confidently saying that I'm in my menses or I'm on my period, we will use coded names like Osmo, funny. So it means we ourselves, like, we don't feel proud of menstruation, which is very sad. So wherefore it starts with us. We should be confident about it. It's our pride. We should understand it from the biological aspect. We didn't call for it. It just happens at some point in our lives. So that's where we can carry on with the education. Like, let people understand that it's biological. Like, it's a process that happens, and it stops when you get pregnant or when maybe you get to your menopause stage. So that's what I can say. And we just need to speak up, and then we challenge the stigmas. For instance, you can't tell me if you are a CEO of a company, and then I understand some have severe cramps during their menses, but there are ways to battle this, you see. So when we employ such things, we will be able to manage our things and participate in decision making. For instance, you being a CEO, and then you tell me it's that day of the month and you can't make it to an important meeting or something, all because you are menstruating. No, you are kidding me. You have to be strong. Show the world that you are strong. You can do this. You've got this. Nothing stops you. For instance, me, not that I don't experience any form of cramps or something. Sometimes I do experience, but it hasn't limited me. It has never limited me from doing something, from achieving anything. So I'll urge us to be strong. It's not easy, but we can do it. We got this. That's why God gave us the strength to take this on. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow, amazing, amazing. I mean, if we can carry a baby for 9 months, we can you are woman
Exactly.
through it and the
Yeah.
time of the month. Right, that's great. Thank you, Dr. Henrietta. Your last words on this whole topic. You still with us, Dr. Henrietta?
Hello.
Oh, here we go. Yes,
Hello. Yeah. Please, can you hear me?
yes, we can.
Okay, great. So I'm so happy that we've had this conversation. Like you said, it's something that should not be reserved for a particular month or a particular period. I like using the word period a lot. And I feel I feel all these words that we use like as euphemisms and all, it somehow subconsciously promotes the stigmatization. So I feel people should be ready to talk about periods more. And also the issue of donations. I mean, it's hard. I mean, things are very difficult financially, but if people can set aside monies for things like this, because a girl does not, someone who menstruates does not ask for it, but as long as you are a normal growing female with uterus, ovaries, you are going to
Mm.
bleed at least once a month, and you need to collect the blood somehow. You need to go about your work. You need to, yes, you need to go to work. You need to go to school. People need to understand those things. And to some girls, it's so much of an inconvenience. For someone like me who has very painful periods, I still have to go to work. So, and I bleed very heavily. If not for the fact that I discovered menstrual cups, I would be so uncomfortable. Because I remember that when I only knew about disposable pads, I would have to change every 3 hours. It was a lot of
Whoa.
discomfort. I get diarrhea. Sometimes I vomit, and all of these things are things that people should know about. And
Mhm.
I mean, not to, sorry, I have a dog.
We can see them in the picture.
So, so yeah, sorry about that. So I think that these are conversations that people should have, so that if there is any way you can help someone who is menstruating, making things easier for them at the time. I'm so against sexism, but I mean there are some privileges that people should be entitled to. People who have painful periods, for instance, I mean, you should understand the fact that the person is going through something that they cannot control. So however you can make things easy for the person, you should be aware of what is going on. A kind word, hot coffee, hot tea, anything that you can use to help that person. People should be aware of these things, not stigmatizing or making fun, especially growing children in school. They make fun. I don't want to sit here because she sat here and she's on her period. Those kind of things are things that we need to disabuse from right from infancy, so that in the end, period poverty not only, please hold on.
Yeah.
I'm so
So,
sorry.
yeah.
There's someone passing in front of my
There we
door.
go.
So yes. So I think that period poverty is not only in terms of the the products that are unavailable or inaccessible, but then the gap in the knowledge is also something that we really, really have to deal with. And I think if we are all working in one way or the other to end period poverty, so yes, that's a good thing. But hopefully we can get more people on board, like Afakuma said, the government with policies and all that. All those things are things that can really help. I feel people don't really think about periods, and it's so much of a problem because every month someone, she's going to menstruate. Unless there's an issue, you are maybe entitled to maybe 3 months of not seeing your period. That can be considered normal, but maybe after that you need to investigate why. But every month a
Right.
girl will suppose, yes, bleed, and if she has to buy pad 20 cds or more for herself, maybe 2 or 3 times for that cycle alone, when her household is not even surviving, getting that much. In some communities actually don't even have shops that sell these things. It's so much of a problem. So I think yes, right from the communities to the government, in fact everyone should really be involved. I feel we don't make enough noise about periods. Yes, so these are things that we can do, I think. So yes, conversations like this are so helpful, and I'm really, really grateful that this was organized and I was invited to speak on it. Thank you so much.
Nice. Thank you very much for your submission. Let's talk about periods. Period. we'll talk about it every day now. Afrakuma.
Yeah, hi, yes. Okay, so from my end, I think we can all come together. So in my previous job, I was the gender lead. One of the projects I was working on before I left was menstrual support policy. So I actually designed a support policy, and the aim was to bring together civil organizations, which is sent invitation out. But again, it was a non-profit, going non-profit, and of course, funds were limited in terms of funds, so we had to hold on that project. If we can add our voices, because I know a friend who actually had to quit her banking job because they felt she was doing too much. I the only woman who bleeds every month. She had endometriosis,
Wow.
and it means that extreme period pain. And when it comes, she can't. And her bosses felt, even the female bosses, hey, kids, they don't want to live on period. Hey, kids, I the only person who gets a period every month. They made it feel like she was a problem. So she had to willingly leave the job and stay in the house and take care of herself. So if organizations or companies understand how the essence of providing support to women, and of course, I'll play the devil's advocate, they are in for profit. So we can't overlook that. But then again, I feel there should be a balance, because if I have pains and I become unproductive even for 2 hours, that goes against you. But if there are support policies in place, oh, if you are in your period, you have 2 hours to go and rest. We have um if you are okay with painkillers, we have mini pharmacy here. Walk in, take your medication, sleep for a while. We have sanitary pads in the washrooms in case sometimes you know your cycle, but a lot of things happens, and by the time you realize it's here, you are not prepared for it. So if even in the washrooms we have that, it's going to help. Even if they can even support women with like kids who have extreme cases, endometriosis, they can give them some leave, some menstrual leave. Countries like Spain have introduced menstrual leaves for women. And I don't know why we can't do that. But if we increase the conversation, I feel they don't understand it. So if we all of us here can increase that conversation, have a session on menstruation and productivity, focus targeting business owners or directors, let us get to understand their fears. So sometimes you talk of financial constraint in terms of they having the money to buy the pad, the fact that people need to work for them to get profits and all that. So let's all understand the problem and come together to fight it, because women can't live always be staying in the house because they have extreme pain, and then their bosses will complain. So okay, now of it, I'm going to stay in there. How can she survive? So I was telling before the last time that I went for an interview, and um after everything they asked me, so after at the end of the month when you are bleeding, are you also like that? It means am I extreme? Because the previous person was extreme. Yes. So I think we need to have this conversation more. And it's been a fruitful evening, and I'm excited that we are all contributing our quota. Sometimes some of the funds even come from our own pockets. But like I said, we are doing the Lord's work, and it's our ministry. And definitely heaven will reward us someday. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm done.
Thank you, Afrakuma, for that submission. Very, very insightful. Thank you all. Yes, Ubalda.
Hello. Thank you so much, everybody, for their contributions. They are really, really, really valuable. I just hope that this will get to be heard by many and implemented, even not now, some time to come. So, the what I will add is the fact that we need to also involve parents in such conversations, especially when we go to the rural areas.
Yeah.
Because when we go, we have the session with the girls. When they go home, the parents still don't know about it. The parents still don't know that the girls need the support, they need the resources and all that. So I feel like as part of doing all these things, we should also make efforts to involve parents. For example, if you go to a school and then we are having training on how to make reusable pads or training on menstrual hygiene in general, imagine if the parents are there, they are also going to have the understanding and then also offer the support to the girls when they go home. Because imagine the parent knows how to make the reusable pads, they even doing it for the girl. It's I don't know, it just brings that kind of relief, that kind of care, knowing that, oh, my mom knows about this and she's helping with this. And for rural areas, and especially, this will be very, very, very valuable to them. Because I think I don't know what it was, Dr.
Wow.
Henrietta, who mentioned that some of them don't even have stores that sell the parts that we
Mm.
know of. So if we have
Yes,
such
yes.
yes. So if we have such sessions and we are involving the parents, it will really, really be good. So as we go about our rounds, we
Yeah.
also let the schools know that yes, we know that menstrual hygiene day you have sessions for the girls and all that. But we believe that it would be nice if you involve the parents as well, just so that they learn about these things and then be more open to speaking to their kids about it and offering the support when needed. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to add. And
Yeah.
once again, as everyone
That's
has said, I'm
great.
so grateful for the opportunity to speak on this topic. And I'm really, really glad because personally, I've learned a lot that I could also implement in my organization to help make this more easy for our girls and then ourselves moving on. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. That's a great submission all around. I have learned a lot as well, and like you just mentioned about that. It's actually a great one that needs to be looked at with, in the rural areas, getting the mothers and the daughters to do it together or to learn it together. And I also feel it will encourage that conversation. It will make it easier to have that conversation, through these activities, and the mothers can support the girls when it is that time of the month. It's a great one for organizations and individuals as well to look into. Yeah, thank you very much, ladies, for
Can I
accepting
share
the
something?
invitation and joining in this conversation. Time is fast spent, so we're going to be wrapping up soon. Yeah, so thank you very much. And today being International
Thank
Menstrual Hygiene
you.
Day, thank you all very much. Those that are watching us, keep using your platforms to educate, to get the awareness out there. Join in conversations. When you see NGOs or organizations or even individuals embarking on these projects, kindly support. Like Afakuma said, some of these things are coming out of our pockets, as our little way of, helping our young girls out there and even women out there. So yeah, when you see the post, kindly reshare, like it, comment, join the conversation, invite yourself or volunteer yourself to join organizations that embark on these things, either one way or the other, one day. Or even if you have any skills, if you have any ideas, join, and together I know that we can only make it better or get it better. And if you see a girl, if you've noticed a girl in church, in your community, at work, anywhere, who is struggling to sort of own her flow, it is for you to also help them come out and have that confidence, have that conversation with them, be that person that they can come to have that conversation with. Maybe they're not able to have it at home or in school or with any person in confidence. So be that person that makes it easier for others to come and share, or have a period conversation with. And I know together and gradually we'll be able to get policies out there that supports women when they are in their flow or on their periods. And also, the whole gap in the educational side as well. The earlier we get our boys involved in this conversation, the healthier it would be and the better it would get. So thank you very much, ladies. Thank you, Linda. Thank you,
If what
Dr.
I want to
Henrietta.
make
Thank you,
a
Akuma. Yeah,
recommendation, please.
yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm glad we actually have, I think, girl-led organizations here on the call. And I would like to recommend this non-formal educational guide. We call it the Roses World. It was developed by WASH United, that's Water, Sanitation and Hygiene, in partnership with the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. It's very educative. Like, it takes them through the biological process, like the physical changes, getting to know what menstruation is, and as well as how to the products available, how to track their period, so they can really check it out on, be it WASH United's platform or WAX platform. They are all available, and I think it's very helpful. If not, it's fun, so it's actually easy to use. You don't really need to thoroughly go through it to use it. It's friendly, user friendly. So thank you.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Kindly share the link in under some of these posts so that it can travel wide and fast in terms of when you see all these
Okay.
post about menstrual health hygiene. I think it would be a great way to also get it out there, because I didn't know about it. I don't know about the rest of the ladies. And yeah, it would be great to now have access to such an information for us to embed in our various outreach or events. So yeah, thank you very much. Every day is a school day, like I say. And today has been a very great school day, having this conversation with all you lovely ladies. So let's continue having this conversation. There's more topics. Kindly let me know which one that you want to join, and then we will keep having it. So this series is gonna go on until we see how far we're able to stretch it. But we're looking at end of June.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking
Sure,
at end of
sure.
June. The topics keeps I've added more topics. So yeah, kindly join. And if you know anybody else out there who is also very enthusiastic and passionate about these topics, get them on board. Let's have this conversation. Let's talk about periods. Period. So this is Triple A. My name is Afua. Thank you all for joining, and happy
Thank you.
International Menstrual Health Day. Let's keep on empowering and engaging our young ones in these conversations, so that they would know better than we do. So thank you, and continue the good work you're doing. Ubalda, thank you very much. Afrakuma, thank you for today. So AAA and the Orange Girls embarked on a very big event today, padding 150 girls in Winneba. Um, there will be more posts about it later. So yeah, thank you very much. It's been an insightful conversation. Dr. Henrietta, thank you very much. And Linda, thank you. I invited you on a short notice. Thanks for showing up. I'm grateful for it. So yeah. So this video is on YouTube as well. So if you want to use any excerpt of it for your organization, or to distribute or use for whatever, you're more than welcome to get the replay on our YouTube channel. Thank you. Have a lovely evening until we meet again. Thanks for joining us.